So what we have already is when you hit play, our object hits our cube and doesn't actually kill it. So you can see that he's actually, it looks like he might be. Let's do this. We want to make sure he's passing through, which it looks like he is. Okay. If I hit spacebar, you can see it just kind of moves the ball out of the way. What we want is two things. We want it to as we shoot, we want to be able to hit the sphere and make it sort of we want to destroy the enemy, so that, and we also have it where our ball, when we shoot off the scene, it does that. And we actually have a pretty good random range now that I look at it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start coding. Let's work on our bullet script. Let's get it so it destroys this object, and as it destroys that object, it increases the score, and it destroys our bullet and the other object. So let's go ahead and open up our rocket script. Alright, and I'm going to create a new function. So here's the end of our void update, and you notice I click down here and it shows me where it ends. So underneath this, I'm going to use a predefined Unity method or function. Methods are what you call functions in C#. So I'm going to say void, because it's not going to return any information. Void. Let me zoom in here for you to make it easier. Void on trigger, enter, and open curly brace, close curly brace. Now, you need to create a variable inside of the parameter for this trigger. Now, this is already a predefined method. So, if I type in here collider dot other object, collider other object. What that's saying is, we're going to store in this other object all of the collisions that happen. What we want to do with it, we're going to type in here. So for example, say we just want to destroy whatever this, whatever our bullet, because remember this rocket script is attached to our rocket. We want to destroy other object dot game object, because we have to specify what it is we're trying to destroy. So I'm going to hit Control S, and now mind you, we have to make sure that we turn on trigger on our bullet. So let's go ahead and find our bullet. So models, objects, rocket. Here's our rocket prefab. We want to make sure that, well, let's try turning on is trigger here and see if that works. So once I do that, you can see that it destroys the other object. Now there's a couple things though, like, for example, like, ooh, looks like our guy shot into space. Even though our other object is destroyed, we want to bring him back. Okay. So for now, let's go ahead and let's tweak this. I'm going to delete this line for now. Or you know what, we'll leave it in there for now. I'm going to actually just respawn it. So let's say, let's see if we can go ahead and specify, because we don't want to destroy everything. So say you have health pickups and your bullet happens to shoot it. You don't want it to just kind of destroy anything. So let's do a if statement. Let's wrap this destroy game object in that. I'm going to put ending closing braces here. If other object dot game object dot tag is the same as, so that's equals enemy, will destroy it. So let's go ahead and hit Control S. Let's select our enemy and let's create a tag called enemy. Now when we press play, it's only going to destroy objects with the tag enemy. Now that didn't work because we never actually tagged this as enemy. So again, let's do enemy, enter, to make sure that's locked in. Untagged. Doesn't seem like, oh, you know what, I added that to layers. You have to actually expand the tags. let's name this enemy. So there's actually two parts to this. There's layers here. You can see now there's an enemy layer, and we'll get into that later, into another tutorial. But here's the enemy. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. And now you can see when I shoot that, it only destroys objects that are enemy. Now let's take a look at sort of pushing it. Like we're going to try to figure out how to add energy and how to respawn our enemy. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start looking at the shifting it, right? So I'm going to comment this line out here, this destroy game object, for a second. And let's tackle how to add to our add points up. So what we want to do is, we don't actually have a variable inside of here that affects player score. So if we go back to our scripts and we look at our player script, if you remember, we created a let's open this up. We opened a kill score, which is, let me zoom out a little bit here, static public variable. It's an integer called kill score. So what we have to do is, in our movement script, we have to actually add to kill score. So what I'm going to do is, in Rocket Script, is every time we collide in that object, I'm going to go ahead and copy this kill score here, and I'm going to look at the name movement script here, and I'm going to say movement script, and it should pop up, there we go, dot kill score plus equals 100. Now if you forgot what plus equals means, what it is it's saying this. We're saying movement script kill score, it's shorthand for writing equals movement script kill score plus 100. So it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around that when you first beginning programming, that it's plus equals. So you're putting a equal sign down and then you're throwing a plus and you're adding it. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, I'm actually going to move the position of my enemy. So let me open up my enemy script so that we can go back and sort of see how we originally programmed our random range. Alright, so it looks like we didn't do that yet, so we might have to go back and edit this too to throw in the random range, but I'll show you how to code that right now. So what we want to do first is, we want to say, okay, well, let's hit Control S for now. Let's test this. So you can see I hit that guy, it's going up. Now remember, we want to kind of we don't want every bullet adding to it, so it's kind of like an infinite score. We want to sort of really get him out of the way right away. That's why the destroy is kind of important, but we're going to tackle this a little bit different. So what I'm going to say here is, I'm going to say other object. So this is really what are the other object that right now is sort of storing the enemy. So other object dot game object dot transform. Now remember, we're talking about, at this point, our other objects transform. We want to talk about the position here. So what I'm going to say is, our other object, which is a game object, we want to move the transform dot position sorry, let me click that back on. One of the troubles of working with multi-monitor. So our other object dot game object dot transform dot position dot y, which is our vertical here. Right now he's at 4, so we're going to say every time we shoot him, we're going to make it equal to 4.5, let's say. So let's hit Control S. Let's test that. So other object dot game object dot transform dot position. Let's test that. And let's take a look at this. So let's see if we can, there we go. Now the issue with the code actually is, if I save this, it's actually not going to work because it's the same problem we had earlier. We actually have to store the position into another variable. So if you remember last time in the movement, or I'm sorry, in the enemy script, we had this code here. So we're actually going to copy this code and we'll delete this whole line here. Let's delete all of this. And let's take a look at this. So we're going to create a new variable within our if statement, and it's just saying, again, vector3 temp, which is going to store the entire position. So right now this transform.position is storing all x, y, and z. That's what a vector3 is. It's storing the x, y, and z coordinates. But we want to make sure that we specify what object we're going to do. So we have to type the other object dot transform.position. I'm going to copy this other object here, paste that here, dot transform.position equals temp, and temp equals 4.5. So now if I hit Control S and I save this, and I press play, you can see that it shoots back to the top, and I'm getting a pretty high score. Alright, so, but that's actually, again, it's only going in the y-axis, so I'm going to copy all of this again, and just below it, I'm going to name this, instead of temp, I'm going to name it temp x, and I'm going to say temp x here, dot x equals random dot range, and that's a pre-made method. So let's take a look at the complete value that we want it to be at. So if I move it all the way to this side, we're at -4, and if we go all the way this side, we're at +4. So we want to do -4 and +4. So I'm going to do -4, comma, +4. And if I save this and I shoot my sphere, it should move the x position. Oh, I have to make sure that I change this to temp x. Alright, let's save that. Let's try it now. There we go. So we're slowly getting there. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to end this tutorial here. The next thing we're going to do is sort of figure out how to get it where it crashes into your ship.